We're in the remote territory of Nunavut, Canada. This is the only province or territory in Canada that has no road access to it whatsoever. We're gonna be on a float plane flying into the Arctic Barren Lands. The Hood River is an advanced level whitewater trip. There's substantial portaging, including one portage that is 11 kilometers long. It might take us as much as 3 days, and it skirts a massive waterfall, the world's largest circumpolar falls, which is the largest waterfall north of the Arctic Circle in the entire world. There's gonna be tundra grizzlies. We're gonna have polar bears, caribou, muskox, Arctic wolves. There's gonna be giant lake trout, and it's just a spectacular river, and I'm super excited to be heading off on this trip with Ted. It should be just an absolutely wild ride, and some very different country than anything you've seen in my videos yet. And before too long, you should see me and Ted getting dropped off in a float plane in the middle of the raw wilderness of the Arctic Barren Lands. The Hood River got its name due to Franklin's first overland expedition, which included travel on this river, or more or less walking up the river and then crossing it and walking all the way back to Great Slave Lake, which is the lake Yellowknife's on. And a lot of them starved to death on that expedition, including Robert Hood, who was likely cannibalized, and that's what the river's named after, the Hood River. Oh my God, dude.
Oh my God, it's enormous.
If we dump here, there's pretty much nowhere else to get over, and we'd have to swim the whole canyon. And if our boat gets lost in here, then it's going to be very hard to retrieve if it gets hung up in an eddy or on a rock. There it is. You see it? It looks definitely like an old Inuit site of some sort. Look at this. So what are your thoughts on the weather? How do you think it's gonna, is this gonna hold up for a bit?
Yeah, we have this high here, stationary high here, so
Yeah.
it should be good.
Okay.
Good for a while anyway.
I trust a bush pilot any day before the news. We're a weatherman any day, man. We will.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Take care.
Yeah, very
good
good.
meeting you.
Yeah, I'll have to look at your YouTube thing.
Yeah, check it out. Today we're starting the day off with a long rapid. Starts as like a class 2 boulder dodge and ends in like a pretty intense class 3. Then we have 2 more obstructions today, which might be runnable rapids. And then I think some of these portages around the waterfalls, maybe one we could run, one we have to carry, but I think they're gonna be incredibly beautiful with eskers and everything. So I'm just really interested in just looking at the scenery that the Hood River here has in store for us. Okay, we are about to run a long Boulder St and Rapid. The last part looks like a challenging class 3. Hopefully you see me down there with the open side of the canoe up. A lot of this in the approach, very long rapid. The hardest part about running the challenging parts is the lining up properly to it. All right, here we go. Just a fun big water run, baby. That was awesome. Mike Ted will have no problems, never hit a rock. Yeah! How was that? That was awesome. Boat performed great in the big waves. Flex helped. I was able to kneel pretty good. I got the skirt done up, and yeah, a lot bigger. Oh, first down. Oh, that's one of those red ones. Wow, dude. Okay, well, bombed the rapids, super fun, some big waves. Took in a bit of water, but no problem. And then proceeded to land a bunch of beautiful trout. Now we're back on the river. We have some swirly currents here and potentially some class 2s as the river takes a tight bend around this corner.
Could be a 3, but I don't
Really?
think so.
Anyways, yeah, it's just awesome. Looks like the day's getting nice, some high pressures rolling in. It's not, looks like the heat wave has ended, and as nice as it was to have some warm weather, it's much more tolerable. Gorgeous canyon pouring in here. Very awesome, beautiful, inspiring country here with these huge hills and eskers. Looks like there's a ledge at the end that maybe we should scout, but probably could get by it a hard right. Looks like there might be something pretty interesting at the end that potentially could dump you. I'm gonna try to run it down on the right. Potentially we should be scouting this. Nah. Oh shit, there's boulders here. Yeah, watch out for that. That was a wicked rapid. Yeah! That was awesome. You know what? Well, we are just pulling up to a portage around a crazy set of waterfalls. Looks very beautiful. Looks like it's gonna be a long portage though, unfortunately. So just gonna get her done. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but we got 3 of these today. We're looking to do some fishing at the base of the final one. Well, this portage turned out to be longer than anticipated for sure, but man, what beautiful sights in the canyon, surrounding hills, eskers and all that kind of stuff. And the day got a little nicer too, but of course when the weather gets good, the mosquitoes and black flies decide to come out too, so you can't win. But man, this has just proven to be an awesome trip, although this portaging has taken us a lot longer than anticipated. So we have 2 more like this today too, and if we can get through them, then we'll be able to catch up with some open river, not too many obstructions and swifter current. But hopefully the other 2 portages are a little shorter and we can get through them and hopefully do a good bit of fishing there at the base of the final one, because it should be an epic fishing hole right where a tributary comes in. We'll see though. Back on the water here, and we're just trying to get through this stretch of river. The length of that one was deceiving how it looked on the map. You have to go way up a big hill, beautiful views, but it took a while. Hinguam Falls we're approaching right now. This one is like apparently a couple runnable, intense but runnable rapids, but from what I hear from the research I've done on this river, you don't want to run them because they're immediately followed up by a giant waterfall that is just something like 25 meters long. So if you were to dump, you couldn't, you might not get rescued, might whip over falls to a sure death, and minimum your canoe would go over and be smashed to bits. So we're probably going to run them. Just kidding. We're going to go have a look. Maybe we can line them because it's low water, but probably we're going to be doing 2 more portages here. Well, we scouted it out, gave it a good scout actually, and we decided we're just gonna run it just because at these water levels it's like just maybe barely a class 3, and the water is not nearly as pushy going up to the falls. There's 2 ledges before the falls, and I don't think if we dumped we'd even get pushed over the 2nd ledge. But still, we are running a rapid right above a 25-meter death waterfall, which always amps things up a little bit. The hardest part to this is going to be turning into it, I think, just the very top. to miss like a big hole there at the top was a little trickier than anticipated. Here comes Ted. Coming up, we have a portage around a 25-meter fall, which is huge. My notes say Hinguam Portage right falls. The beauty of these 25-meter falls is breathtaking. Just don't go over them. Okay, noted. Well, I finished the portage, put my bags down by the water like we were gonna put in and paddle away, but it was late in the evening and I walked up to look at the falls and found this beautiful flat area. There's some evidence here of Inuit people camping back in the day. Likely this has been a camping area for a very long time, and it is absolutely beautiful. We're camping right by this falls. So I'm gonna catch a fish. I'm too tired to do much fishing because the portaging took longer and was harder than anticipated as usual. But we're excited we could run those 2 rapids instead of having a portage though. So yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go take a couple casts and then we're gonna eat fish, we're gonna eat some dehydrated food and have a nice evening. Hopefully get to bed before too late. That is a thing of beauty right there. Look at that. But it's a little too big to keep, so I'm gonna let that beauty go. Well, I'm heading back to camp. I think the one Ted caught will be enough. Yeah, they weren't taking my lure this evening, and all I could catch was huge ones. So, but yeah, I mean, you can just stay up having fun. It's like a playground out here. But eventually, with this sun, you know, you don't want to go to sleep, and you got to, or you just get exhausted. And we got a big day tomorrow, so I'm gonna head back up to camp. We'll eat Ted's fish, and we'll have a, you know, dehydrated meal and crawl into bed. So today, Ted's cooking up the trout, and on the menu for old Jim is some Moroccan chickpea stew. So, Moroccan chickpea stew, it's actually a vegetarian dish. And Ted is just about to cook up the fish. Are you gonna hit that with some seasoning first? Oh yeah. Well, the fish is done. I'm gonna check in on my Moroccan chickpea stew. Whoa, that's a lot of food. Oh my God. It really expanded. Doesn't that look civilized? That's gonna be on the front cover of Backcountry Food with Jim and Ted. Well, it is about that time, ladies and germs. A couple of big portages today, probably all in just a bit shy of 2 miles of carrying. There's muskox poop right in front of these falls, which is just so cool. Like, as if it couldn't get any more amazingly beautiful. Imagine a herd of muskox grazing right here. Anyways, I'm going to climb in the tent for another well-deserved sleep and try to drag myself out of bed tomorrow morning after, you know, get a good 7 hours and get on with what is hopefully another awesome day. Day 10. Ted and I just basically did our morning routine, climbed out of the tent, breathed in our surroundings, a little bit of drizzle of rain. Looks like we might get some rain today. And took down the tent. I got my cowboy coffee going, and I swapped out some of my barbless trebles for just barbless single hooks. Well, it's that part of the day again. Apple cinnamon today. My second favorite next to peaches and cream, which is more like a dessert. Let's see how the coffee turned out today. Still a little weak. We have not exactly rushed out of camp here, and that has to do with this being hands down one of the most beautiful campsites I've ever stayed at. But we're gonna get going because I'm sure there's more amazing things to see downriver. We do have a rapid coming up that is gonna be like a challenging and hopefully runnable rapid, but that might not be till tomorrow. There's this other tributary that we kind of wanted to hike up to explore a bit, but now we're thinking, you know, everywhere around seems amazing to hike and just, you know, look over in the next ridge, follow an esker, see if you can see some wildlife. And we're thinking that maybe we just get ahead and hike somewhere else because everywhere is amazing. And we're just gonna get going. Looking forward to seeing what the day holds. Just pushing off from Hinguam Falls. I'd say probably the best campsite of the trip yet, and one of the most beautiful spectacles as well. Saw a bull caribou making its way up that esker in the minutes before leaving camp, and it looks like some of the black flies are deciding to come along for the paddle with me today. Overcast today. It looks like we could get rain at any time, so I have my rain jacket at the ready, but it's sort of like variable, or there's patches. I can see rain here, I can see rain here, but it might just miss us. So really cool. Came around the corner, I saw it pretty far away, so I tried to paddle up to it. By the time I got close enough for a shot, it was midway through, swimming through the river, which was awesome. And then it kind of ran along the bank there a little and went up the hill. So pretty neat, got pretty close to it too. Ted was behind me, and I think got some nice shots of it as well. But just awesome just to observe them, watch how they behave, watch their motions. That was a big one with really big rack, big scoops on the top. Their antlers are still growing and they're in velvet right now, which means they have that fuzzy stuff on the antlers. Well, I just pulled over quickly to take a little whiz. I discovered what looks like a total delicious clear water spring just coming right out of the ground here. Check it out. Wow. Tastes amazing. That tastes like fucking spring water, dude. I just noticed that there's a wolf trail with all wolf prints coming right up the spring. Hike up to this epic waterfall here. I think that's the tent rings are right there. Yeah, I think I see another historical Inuit campsite here. Pretty good eater size. Well, Ted and I pulled over there at the Right River and took a couple casts, caught a lake trout. Now we're actually heading up onto this little plateau here because we think there might be an old Inuit historical site, some tent rings, oh, who knows. So we're gonna check that out. And we're gonna hike back towards the waterfall for a bit and just check out the river and then push on. But it's already a neat spot, and this waterfall is just unreal. So this is the only thing around here that I think might look like some sort of old tent structure. Definitely has the appearance that it was placed here by someone. Almost looks like petrified wood, but this lichen takes a while to grow there. It's a bone fragment here where a very long time ago somebody smashed open this caribou bone to access the nutritious marrow on the inside of it. Back in the day, the Inuit used to camp in skin tents, and they'd use rocks in a circle around the outside to hold the tent down, much like we use pegs today. And then they'd leave the rocks in that circle, so the next time they got back to that campsite, they'd all be there. And so you can still see those tent rings in a lot of places in the far north. Whiteys in here. I saw the back fin. 100% confirmation. Yeah, grayling. Yeah. Yeah. We were lucky enough to get into some Arctic grayling. Ted's like, those are grayling. Look, look, look. And I wasn't completely sold at first, but now I realized those fish. Ted's got one. Now I realized those fish last night that weren't hitting were grayling. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, because realistically, we're not going back to the other side at this point. Looks like you could run it down right at that boulder, though. All right, Ted, I'm gonna go for it. Technical class 1 ledge, we'll call that. Ted has opted to line this just because he's got all the solar battery stuff out charging, and to strap it all down would take a long time. Plus it's very bouldery. There's grayling here too, I can see them. Yeah. Dude, there's like 10 grayling just cruising past me. Oh, but the lake trout came in and hammered it. The Lakers are aggressive feeders. I was trying to pick up one of those grayling. Man, it's hard to make distance when there's so much fun stuff to do all the time. Grayling don't like me. Look at the fins on this one, Ted. God damn it, how does anyone ever make it anywhere out here? Oh, see you, buddy. That one had orange fins. If you didn't see it, you have to take my word for it. Okay, now for real, we gotta paddle far and hard. So hard to pass up an epic spot, but at the end of the day, you know, sure, we could have taken more time, I suppose, but how much longer do I want to be away from my family? And whatever the case is, there's never enough time to do everything. You know, we're already doing this river in, 2-3 days less than we could if we pushed, if not more. Looks like far side, on the other side. Yeah, it's a laker. It's a little too small though. Ted kept a grayling. And I was hoping to keep a grayling, have a grayling dinner tonight, but I'm only catching lake trout. The lake trout love me. Well, Well, this looks like a decent enough place to camp. Beautiful stretch of river, canyons, but you know, not very many camping sites. And this is flat. It's kind of in the floodplain, but as long as it doesn't hammer rain endlessly, I think we'll be fine.
Hotty see, hotty hot, hotty see, you so warm and so snuggly and chocolatey. Hotty see, hotty hot, hotty see.
Arctic grayling's Latin name is Thymelius arcticus, and Thymelius is the Latin word for thyme, the herb which is used as seasoning, and it's named that because of the scent of thyme that its flesh has. You kind of taste a bit of thyme type flavor. And look at that. When you cook it up like this, whole, nothing is wasted. So right before bed, let's just take a cast. Maybe I'll catch a grayling, maybe a big grayling. And you know, I think it was 2 casts in, and just wham, my line was being pulled out. Something, I knew I had something big, but then I saw this big splash in the water, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is something special. Dude, what the this line is frayed too. Oh my god, dude. And then it screamed, it ran my spool down, it ran a bunch of line out, went down river, and I basically had to run along shore to kind of catch up to it as I was reeling, or it would have, you know, broken me off on some rocks or headed down this rapid that's down river, and I would have lost it. Holy, that's a pretty big fish.
Dude, that's probably the one that ate the grayling head, you know? Oh my god, it's enormous! Oh my god!
Got it. It'll be fine. Yeah, there's the, looks like the grayling head in there. Woo!
Wow!
Yeah, baby.
Wow, dude, nice fish.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
Unbelievable, dude.
What a fish!
Holy.
Oh my god!
Wow. I wasn't really even prepared for this to happen at that moment, and I basically had to kind of jump in and grab it and land it with both hands, and managed to get the hook out, clean hook. So held it up, you know, got some pictures and got some video of it, and Ted was there and witnessed it, and good release, a lot of pep with the fish going back in the water, so that makes us feel really good. But wow, what a privilege to be able to tangle with fish like that, just casting from shore like this. You know, we're gonna give it an honest 20 pounds for sure, but who knows, might be more. Just a tank. Words cannot describe how special it is and how amazing this trip is, to be out here like this. Just incredible. And tomorrow should be another awesome day too, so I'm gonna get to bed and get back at it tomorrow. There's a lot of exciting stuff in store for tomorrow. So I think we're gonna start seeing some muskox, maybe some Arctic wolves as well. Good chance we see muskox tomorrow, and run some fun rapids, try to make some distance, but yeah, it should be pretty special. So looking forward to getting into her and having a nice sleep. Well, here we are on day 11 of this trip, and Just having a delicious coffee. Have you tasted the coffee this morning, Ted? It's perfect. Okay, here we go, on the water. Day 11, and today is going to be characterized by many small, hopefully manageable rapids, swift current, boulder dodging, and we're going to try to do 30 plus K today. We shouldn't have a portage, but we might have some technical boulder strewn ledges to deal with. It looks like some rain in the distance, but none in the Garmin positional forecast. And then tomorrow is supposed to be rainy, so we're going to soak it up today. Try to get as many batteries charged up as we can with the solar. Like if that was higher water, the whole thing might have just been a swift, so it might make like shorter sections harder, but everything overall easier, you know? Wow, this is really beautiful. Paddling along the base of this big sand bluff, and it looks like we have a rapid right as this bluff comes to an end. Looks like there's a big hole down there. I see a line. I'm just gonna bomb this hole. There's a tributary here, so we might take a couple of casts at the mouth, see if we can't catch us a fish. Maybe another 25-pound leviathan, who knows? Keep.
That's a beauty. Yeah.
It's hard to see, but you can see snow in the mountains here. A couple patches. Hey Ted, look on top of this big rock here. Anyways, Ted and I just came down a stretch of river, and I looked over and saw this huge boulder left there by the glaciers, and on top of it are some interesting things. They don't look like rocks, maybe antlers, maybe something that a person placed on top of it, maybe remnants of some sort of eagle's nest, we don't know, but I think I'm gonna climb out and go have a look. Well, it was quite the climb. It looks definitely like an old Inuit site of some sort. Look at this. So So these flat rocks placed up here. Look at the view of the surrounding country. I think the caribou migration came along the side of the river here, and they just used this as a stone blind and hid in here. And with the caribou migration trails, some of those can last a long time, and it looked like at least at one time large amounts of caribou moved along this side of the river. But anyways, I decided to come up here, climb up here and check it out and see what it is, because I thought it might be some sort of Inuit historical site, and it turns out, well, it's absolutely gotta be. All these rocks are just flat rocks in a circle. There's an entranceway marked with a rose quartzite cross in it. A lot of these rocks have been broken to make flat. A lot of them have tool marks in them where it looks like caribou meat or something was cut up on them. They're placed in a circle. So I think that this was a blind, and that people would hide up here with these rocks standing up to block them from the migrating caribou who would move this way, and then they would spear them and arrow them as the caribou moved around this rock. But I might be wrong, it might be something else, but I've never seen anything quite like this with the rocks before. But it's definitely something left by people a very long time ago. So I'm really glad I pulled over to check it out. This is just so awesome. It is right here on the 23rd of September 1821 that John Franklin's first overland expedition probably crossed the Hood River to continue what was a starvation expedition heading south back to Fort Reliance on Great Slave. And multiple people died, including Robert Hood, who was likely cannibalized, and that's what the Hood River's named after. Ominous. So fortunately we're having a much better trip than Franklin and his men on his first overland expedition of 1821. Still time for everything to go downhill though, I guess, knock on wood. But yeah, certainly seems a lot more beautiful right now. was a tricky one because too far left there's this huge ledge with a huge hole, but the whole river was kind of trying to push you right into it, right over it, I should say. See it? You saw it. That was pretty cool. Paddling along and I just see this big beautiful Arctic wolf just trotting up high on the bank, and it's just trotting, kind of looking at me. It saw me before I saw it, and when it saw probably what I was, it veered off, and I told Ted, who's behind me, but he didn't see it. So Ted said, well, let's jump out and go look, and Ted walked up and actually managed to get a little footage of it staring at him and then running away. So really neat, an Arctic wolf sighting. That's pretty special. We're gonna camp here. I think we made it like 30, 35 maybe. We weren't exactly beast paddling all day either. My fish is perfect, Ted. Maybe a little, like this back part, a little done, but overdone, like you said, but it's really delicious.
It's a hard one to get, you know?
Mm. All right, well, I'm gonna go ditch this food barrel and go to bed because I'm exhausted.
I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride. Carrying my 6-shooter, riding my pony on a cattle drive. Stealing a young girl's heart, just like Gene and Roy, singing those campfire songs. I should have been a cowboy. Do, 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 do.
Is that you strumming the guitar?
No, that's when I do the metal. Yeah. When I do the metal, I implement that strumming guitar, but it doesn't really go with that song. But I found that the coffee grinds don't fall as fast as when you sing a cowboy song. Like if I was to yodel, it probably would work right away. So if you want cowboy coffee to work better, work on your yodeling. So when you spin it as you yodel. Back to my old ways, stirring with my cold steel SRKC. I've been stirring with my spoon just because I'm slowing down a little in my older days and not doing the crazy things I once did. But you know, sometimes it's good to relive the past, and that's why I'm stirring with this high-end outdoorsman's knife. No grinds today. Okay, wait a minute. Three grinds. And that's because of the air guitaring, spinning, but mostly because of the cowboy song that I sang. Okay, well, we are back on the water today. Got a strong wind, but looking like it's a tailwind. Turns out that yesterday, when we did a little bit of a closer inspection on the map, paddled nearly 40 kilometers, and we pushed late into the evening, so we're getting much later start today than typically, but we're caught up and then some. So we still got to make it 21 kilometers a day on average, not counting the 2 days we've allotted Portage Wilberforce Falls. So that's pretty good. So we're feeling pretty good about the time we have out here. Just saw a big, beautiful bull caribou, probably the biggest and healthiest looking bull we've seen. There's a tinge of forest fire smoke in the air,
seems to be blowing here with this west wind. So maybe to the southwest of us, or far to the west where the tree line comes up further north. There's a fire. It could be extremely far distance away, because we are very far away from the closest tree at this point, that's for sure. Looks like there might be like a ledge on the left. Yeah, some boulders.
Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Yeah, this is it. Go! Yeah, this is it. Go! Let's go! This is it.
Woo, woo, woo. Ted! Holy sh**. Where the hell did that one come from? Not even a marked rapid through here. All of a sudden, I'm getting pushed into a near class 3 with a huge ledge and boulders along the right. Where if I went into that hole, I might have dumped. I probably would have been okay, but I had to paddle hard and then straighten out right before I went sideways into it. There's a big rapid coming up that, you know, is really scary in high water. It's apparently a class 5 and boulders and super tricky but runnable in lower water. So it's something where you really have to get out of the boat and carefully scout it out. Now, when I'm approaching these, I can see the end of the rapid. I can see that there's nothing dangerous, but Ted's reminding me to be careful and not get swept into that dangerous rapid, because from where he is, he can't see the safety beyond this, you know, beyond the white horses here and these standing waves. But to me, I already know it's no big deal, but it's good to be cautious for sure, and always stay on your toes looking at what's coming around the corner on these stretches of pushy river with lots of whitewater. Well, we ended up pushing on a bit so we could get to this crazy rapid that I don't think we're gonna run today, but we figured it might be run it might be portage it. So we thought, well, if we camp here, that way we can just pack up and do the portage in the morning without without having to load our boats, paddle, unload our boats and go. So we'd save a lot of time. Anyways,
This is home for the night. Pushed pretty late into the evening, but man, it was super beautiful the last few clicks. Paddled past this stretch of cliffs and really tranquil and just really inspiring country. So anyways, looking forward to getting some food in me and getting a good night's sleep and all that. So yeah, happy to be at camp. Okay, well, Ted and I have decided to get crazy, and we are gonna have pancakes for dinner tonight with my very own homemade maple syrup, Magneto One maple. Oh my God, it's shockingly delicious. Basically, I'm just gonna mix up pancake mix and fry it up, so it should be delicious. Give us some good carbs to go to bed after stuffing ourselves with carbs. Probably wind up with Alzheimer's. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Bam! Nice. That's how we do it. Look at that. Bam, 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 boy. Around this time of the evening, I like to act like an idiot.
Pancakes for dinner.
Pancakes for dinner.
We're having
pancakes for dinner.
So if you want to come, we are opening an IHOP right here. For the hordes of traffic that'll come in through the front door, just foot traffic.
Yum! Yes! About to get into this. Get heavy. Tori spearheads the maple syrup operation at our house, her husband. We tap like 34, 35 trees, and we just love being outside at that time of year, the early spring. And we boil it all down on just our barrel stove that we made. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the fried in lard, but good. How far did we go today, Ted? 30 clicks? Maybe like 25? Okay, well, Ted and I had pancakes for dinner, coffee and pancakes for dinner, which gave us a little bit of energy, and it's probably like 1 a.m. or something like that right now.
Not quite, it's like 12:40.
12:40. Anyways, we decided to go on a long walk way down and scouted out this rapid. Terrified ourselves, imagining running it. So that's going to be the first thing tomorrow. We're going to bomb some big waves, eddy out, probably portage the last part. I might try running part of it, although there's a good chance I dump, which I don't really feel like doing, like dumping, so you know, but it's pretty intense with irregular waves, but just beautiful, all the rocks and little canyon there, super cool. So I'm just gonna try to enjoy it and soak it all in while we can. Anyways, nighty night, and we'll see you in the morning. Good morning,
everybody, it is day 13 of our adventure down the Hood River here in the Canadian territory of Nunavut. And I had a great sleep last night. Could have been longer, but got in 7 hours, which is good. We're on a later schedule. It doesn't really matter because of the long days, but we get to camp late and then we want to get up, and there's just too many things to do. We need to, you know, get on the river and travel and make a certain distance every day, and there's just too many fun things to do, to stop, fish, explore, little side hikes, all these kinds of things that we don't want to waste it sleeping. When you're out here getting this exercise and fresh air, you get some good sleeps, that's for sure. Anyways, today is starting off with a rapid. Ted and I walked down to the base of it last night and scouted it out. And before we even get to the big final drop, we have to run the top of the rapid, which is going to be pretty good anyways. And then we're going to paddle a solid 30 kilometers today and make it to massive Wilberforce Falls, where we'll camp and probably, because it's so cool, explore it a little bit tonight before starting our portage first thing tomorrow morning. And other than that, yeah, we got to make our distance and soak in the beauty of it all along the way and check out what is the pièce de résistance of the Hood River, Wilberforce Falls. Another oatmeal scene. What you've all been waiting for. This is going to be the thumbnail. Okay, so we've decided not to run the final drop because honestly, if the water level was a bit higher, it would have been doable and I probably could do it, but it's just really like not necessary either. So we're gonna run the first part of the rapid and eddy out before the big drop, but there's a headwind today, and when you're paddling rapids in a headwind, the current goes one way, it almost destroys your ability to go faster or slower than the current. And control in whitewater comes from either going faster or slower than the current, so that always makes things a little more challenging. But anyways, I think we'll be okay. Beautiful, like kind of canyon sort of feel here with this rapid too. Yeah, look at that, perfect takeout. Smart thing to do. Not the most fun thing to do if all was to go well.
Well, the rain is coming down pretty heavily here in the Arctic Barren Lands. Seems like it's going to keep up for quite some time. There's only so much you can really do to stay dry. Lots of rapids. I just pulled over to scarf some lunch and head upriver. I don't know, swapping out some batteries or something. But it seems kind of like this is just how it's going to be. We have some big waves to crash over, some rapids that are, you know, varying difficulty but nothing too crazy, and a lot of wet weather. And we're just going to keep going on like this for a long time. We're probably gonna have to push fairly late into the evening again. Just hopefully we don't catch a chill. So, you know, if we start to get cold, there's no opportunity to light a warming fire here because there's no trees. So you just pull over and you set up your tent, you swap out your clothes, dry them out on a clothesline in the wind the next day. It's the only way you can really dry things. So sun and wind. But anyways, it's beautiful. Stretches of canyonous country, big sloping hills scattered with boulders as usual. The mist is covering the hills, sort of leaving a silhouette in the distance, and we're on a big bending, winding stretch of river, so it's pretty cool.
powerful and majestic Wilberforce Falls. And this is an incredible sight. This is a moment that I feel like my life has been building towards for a very long time. It's a dream that I've had probably for about 18 or 20 years to see Wilberforce Falls on the Hood River. It's the most
We are
are at the beginning of Wilberforce Falls. It was honestly an emotional feeling for me to round the corner and look out and seeing that mist coming up and being like, there we are at Wilberforce Falls, this place that has, you know, intrigued me for a couple of decades at least, that here I am and I'm gonna get a chance to soak it all in. Well, here we are at camp. Ted's snapping, just kidding. And it was by far the worst weather day of the trip. That's not saying much because the weather's been good, but still it was pretty bad. Like really, really strong headwind, borderline untravelable.
Was it this bad?
Not that bad, but still pretty bad. What movie's that from? Tell me in the comments. Yeah, so right now we're getting water onto boil and getting the tent set up. Like I said, I ran up, changed my clothes right away. I'm trying to get my other clothes dried off on these bushes here, but we'll see how well that works. And tomorrow's gonna be basically spent all day exploring this area, which is breathtaking, but portaging around this massive falls and canyon. Today, it's pasta. So essentially I just made meat sauce and dehydrated it. So I just used ground beef, chopped up onions, tomato sauce. I think I put a little tomato paste because I ran out of tomato sauce. And basically just followed the good old-fashioned spaghetti sauce recipe. Then I brought the spaghetti by itself. So you can cook it all together and dehydrate all of it. But if you're bringing pasta, it's already dry. So you might as well just cook it and rehydrate the sauce itself. Another step when you're out here though, and maybe a little heavier, I'm not sure. I'm cooking spaghetti! I've lost me marbles. Well, I forgot to boil the water first and then add the pasta. I just added pasta to like already boiled hot water. Well, that looks like a lot of food. I made too much pasta, which means I brought too much, which means I have more food than I thought. I also screwed the pasta up. Didn't have enough water. You have to boil the water, then add the pasta. I added the pasta, then boiled the water, so it just turned into like some sort of like stew. The sauce turned out good though. Yeah, a lot of meat in this meat sauce. Maybe the pasta sauce was so good that it saved the poorly done spaghetti noodles. Anyways, yeah, gonna walk the food barrel off. Absolutely epic moonrise here. Like, how cool is that? I'm spinning the moon on my finger. Boop. Oh. Yeah, so I'm gonna walk the food barrel out and crawl into the tent. Time to get up. It's a nice day. That's what my son Huddy says. It is a nice day. Quite the contrast from yesterday. And today, I'm gonna jump into a massive portage. Day 14 here now. So we've been out here for a solid 2 weeks. Same thing as usual in the morning. We're gonna have breakfast. Our coffee's here. Take down the tent I swapped out my Catadine squeeze filter as well because the old one was getting too jammed. That's my water purification system. And there's actually a lot of pretty good sized sticks around here and twigs and that. So Ted got a fire going. He's heating up the water on the fire, which will save some stove gas. And I used it to dry out my pants a little bit. The material is thicker and it's harder to get it dry, so dried out some clothes, got that going, and yeah, before too long you're gonna see me walking through the Arctic wilderness with a lot of weight on my shoulders. There looks like bear poop or a tundra grizzly. Looks old though, but not that old. Well, we're a good bit into this portage around Wilberforce Falls, and there's no trail, which isn't so bad because there's no trees, but the tundra is really spongy in places, which is exhausting to walk on, and through the bushes and stuff. We haven't gotten near to the brink of the falls yet, and it already looks super cool, this canyon. I saw some what looked like grizzly bear poop too back there. I just got dive bombed by a peregrine falcon. Clearly its nest is around here somewhere. We're taking breaks here along the Portage Trail because to walk along the rim of the canyon, at least for this part of the Portage, is next to impossible. So my bag's way up there. But we just don't want to miss any of this stuff. I dropped my bag and we walked down here to take a closer look. Looking at it, it's just spellbinding. It just gives me like a deep inner peace. It's really cool. Here along the Wilberforce Falls Portage. This is easily one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The best route, I would say trail, but there's not a trail, so the best route of travel doesn't really go right up to the canyon, at least where the waterfall is. So Ted and I dropped our bags and walked down and hiked along the edge of the canyon for a bit and got right up near the waterfall there, felt the mist, saw the rainbows and just soaked it in, and just incredible, more amazing than I ever imagined. Look what Ted found. A lucky rabbit's foot that looks like it was taken out in the winter too. Oh, wait a minute, is it a ptarmigan?
Maybe it's a ptarmigan, yeah.
Lucky ptarmigan's foot. Yeah, so we're just scouting this out here. We'd portage around the falls, carry our gear to the end. We're gonna camp midway through. We're just walking back for another load and just get down this tight little runoff coulee and just lower our boats with ropes and put it in the canyon down there and bomb the rest of it. So that's what's going to be on the docket for tomorrow, and it's going to be epic running whitewater with these towering cliffs on both sides, but also dangerous. It'll save us probably a solid 3 kilometers of portaging the canoe though, so it's not without benefits, and the fun and the scenery, the beauty of it all will be well worth it. And look what Ted discovered here. We found out why that falcon was dive bombing us earlier, and we found its nest with 4 healthy looking small falcons. They look pretty freaking big to be falcons, but it's got to be what they are. Well, on the menu for today is chicken curry with rice. Let that sit for 15 minutes. Well, I have this wee dram of single malt scotch left. I saved my coffee grinds from this morning and I've let them sit for quite some time. What a beautiful place to eat my dinner. Like looking at the sunset, looking out over the end of the canyon. There's a rapid there, just broad expanses of wide open country, eskers, mountains in the background. Super cool. Perched right here on the edge of a massive cliff that goes right down to the little river. So one of the cooler places I've ever camped, I would say. I think my chicken curry with rice is just about ready to devour. Look at that. Perfect. Yeah, good meal tonight. Chicken curry with rice, and I'm going to turn in for a good night's sleep. Tomorrow we got our work cut out for us. We got to portage the rest of this, portage the canoe back to a very interesting put-in, get it down in the canyon and bomb some rapids, and then hopefully make it a few clicks when we're through the canyon. But amazing day. It's time to make my coffee. It's time to drink it now. Hopefully it tastes good and my taste buds will say wow. Ted and I have decided that the rest of this video from this point forward will be a musical. How are you today? I am feeling alright, but I kinda feel like puking with a headache, but other than that, pretty good. Geez, maybe you should enjoy that coffee. Man, hopefully it's not sandy and rocky.
I'm gonna probably feel much better once I get something in of my tummy.
That's good. I'm just about to put creamer in my coffee. Creamer in my coffee. Here's the creamer. Here is the coffee. Let's put it in. Let's do it. Hey, my name is Jim. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, well, I just finished the portage here. Long portage, actually. And it's not even halfway. So running the lower part of this canyon will save a lot of time and effort. But it looks like Ted's already headed down there. Because he already brought his canoe to this spot yesterday, and he's gone down this deep, steep slope down to the river, to the canyon bottom, and I'm about to do that too, but it looks pretty interesting. Go all the way down to there. Okay, here we go. Down the canyon. Down there, and if I kick a rock, it could create a serious hazard for him below. Well, here we go. We're jumping into Wilberforce Canyon, whitewater run that we could only scout from hundreds of feet above. So we're a little nervous but excited, and it's already crazy beautiful down here. Well, here we go, baby. My boat feels a lot tippier because I have no gear in it, but it'll be more maneuverable and I'll be able to take in less water on the big waves. But yeah, it feels tricky for sure, but I'll get used to it pretty quick. Whoa, this is awesome! Crashed his drone.
It crashed back behind. It's just gonna sink.
Right.
All of my footage here for days and days.
I just switched the card.
Why didn't I switch my card? Not to mention it's so valuable, but I didn't switch my card.
Whatever, we have my footage, it'll be okay.
Days of shit, man.
Yeah. Nice. Wasn't as hard as it looked, eh? Yeah. It looked pretty hard though, eh? Yeah. Still technical.
You know why? 'Cause this
looked like a way stronger eddy than yeah. What did we say with this one? Down the right? I think so. There's some rocks in that last one, eh? Yeah, on the right, on the left. It looks pretty straightforward. Part of the canyon this is. Wow, the river's super deep here. Got another rapid coming up. Could be Arctic char in these waters. Canyon, we just ran Wilberforce Canyon! Yeah! Okay, so we made camp at the base of Wilberforce Canyon. After I went back and did my 2 trips, and Ted and I grabbed the rest of our stuff after running the canyon. It was pretty late, so we decided just to camp here and found a pretty nice sandy spot on a gravel bar. And it's just about perfect out right now. The wind died off. Ted's cooking up some fish, and yeah, we're gonna eat and have a nice meal. So today for dinner, back to one of my personal favorites, which is Thanksgiving dinner dehydrated meal. One of the most delicious and easiest dehydrated meals to do, because all you really have to dehydrate is the turkey, and the rest of the stuff you buy dehydrated and mix it all together. So I added dehydrated turkey, which I buy canned, and then you buy instant mashed potatoes, and then you buy stovetop stuffing, and you mix the instant mashed potatoes and the stovetop stuffing together. I usually keep the dehydrated turkey in a separate bag, and then I also add craisins as well to it, and it looks just about like that. So that's the craisins, the stovetop stuffing, and the mashed potatoes. Ooh, okay. What kind of seasoning we got on there?
We got salmon seasoning in Old Bay.
A mixture.
A mixture. Trout and Arctic grayling. This trout was going to die, so we kept it with a small, but it'll be delicious. And then, of course, for some added flavor, a little bit of sand. You always want a little sand and everything.
Good, cleans out the bowels.
Nice to cut this one.
So we got Arctic grayling and some trout here, lake trout, a small lake trout that was too small to keep, but it died, so it got kept, and we need the food anyways. All right, let's taste the lake trout. Good. Good, good, good. Let's taste the grayling now. Cleanse my palate. Tough to say which is better.
Thanksgiving dinner. That's a big feed right there. After paddling the canyon yesterday, we left our boats at the top of a challenging rapid that immediately follows the canyon. This rapid, easily one of the most intense rapids of the whole trip. Looks like a solid class 3. So feeling a little nervous, but should be about a straight line going down. So here we go. Man, it feels great to be on the water. It's always so much work packing up camp, all the little things that to do with filming and packing the boat and everything, but as soon as you get on and you start cruising with that current, and you're like, oh, this is just so worth it. Although of course we started the day off with a spirited rapid, and we're just actually coming up to another one now. This is a lot of fun, but these bouldery rapids can turn out to be more intense than they look like from upriver, and to pull over and scout all of them is next to impossible. So you gotta just do your best and try not to dump and pin with gin. Bouldery rapids, we just paddle right in. Never are we even scouting, cause we just wanna paddle in. Dump and pin. Well, this just feels like a magical day on the river, because it is. We
do have a portage coming up. It's called Ragged Rock Portage. And this is where actually Franklin camped in 1821. Explorer John Franklin on his first overland expedition, where everyone starved to death pretty much. And then they kept making it up this side of the river and then crossed at a rapid much further upriver that I commented on as we passed that way. So pretty cool. Falls, and it's where Franklin camped right around here in 1821 on his first overland expedition. And it's a beautiful site, but not a very good place to camp. So Ted and I are going to take a few casts here, and we're going to move on downriver, and we're going to head for a river mouth, a river called the James, and probably post up there for tonight. But really beautiful site. Imagine in higher water it would be crazy raging. I'd be probably underwater right now.
Yep. Oh, I lost it. Nice one. Nice one.
Oh, keep going. Nice. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Oh, there's a fucking monster, dude. Holy f. Look at that. What the f was that? Dude, I just saw one this big. Like a fucking 12, 15 pounder. There's a grayling right along here. It's in here feeding. Got a hit, saw another one. Oh! I don't know. Maybe. It was fighting like crazy. We're gonna push on for the mouth of the James River. Cool to check out the falls. Did a little fishing, caught dinner, got some action, saw a giant fish. I lost one, had a few follows, but definitely the fishing has slowed down. And I think all the big fish are in the big pools now that the water temperature is really warmed up. So they're trickier to catch, but when you put in a little time, you can still do it. all of a sudden get scared out of nowhere. We were closer the time before that. We got a little fire going tonight, which is cool. As we were watching this caribou that just kind of trotted out of the beach, the same one that was on the site here or in this spot when we showed up to camp, was all of a sudden like in front of us, and we were watching it. We walked up and then it kind of got a little spooky and sniffed the air and bolted. And I'm like, started looking around for like predators. What's it scared of? Like what was that all about? Well, Ted and I, a couple minutes after that, walked around the corner and saw ripping fresh grizzly bear tracks walking right like this. So essentially, as Ted and I were observing this caribou, a grizzly bear walked out of the bushes from behind our tent, walked right behind our backs, and then swam across the river, and we didn't notice it at all because we were watching the caribou.
Yeah, we're sitting there like...
Yeah, and that's probably why the caribou was out here in the first place, you know? So that is crazy. Would have been a tundra grizzly. I think it might be long gone now, but maybe he was interested in our fish here. We have a fish that we've cut up. That's cool. It doesn't look particularly big, but tundra grizzlies aren't big. But did you see
past us and took down the caribou?
That would have been cool. Did you see the length of its claws? Like its claws are like that far away from its paws.
It's bigger than a black bear, dude. Like, you know, it's fucking still just absolutely beat the living shit out of you in a millisecond.
Oh yeah. And now I'm gonna cook my portion of it. I've been bringing lard lately. This is just tenderflake, and I bring that instead of an oil like a canola or a vegetable oil, because the lard is a whole food, basically no processing. It's not a processed food at all. It goes into it. So I've heard some things that are kind of sketchy about some of these vegetable oils and what they do to your body in the process of making them, which sound not so great. But also just because lard is lighter and it doesn't spill. So that works great. Just throw a dollop of this in the pan, let it melt. The only drawback is that if you don't wash your pan off, the lard hardens up and it's harder to get off your pan afterwards. Oh, look, Ted. Our friend the caribou is back to hang out. Well, it is the next morning and we didn't get eaten up by a bear last night. That's great. And I woke up, looked out of the tent, and I saw... Hey dude, good morning. Well, it is the morning of day 16. We have 2 more days left on the river than our pickup on the 3rd day. And we're gonna try to get to our pickup location a day early. So today we have to, bang off a pretty decent amount of
kilometers, I don't know, maybe like 30 something, and that'll give us an extra buffer day to, you know, just make sure we're there in time and to hike to the Arctic coast to check that out, which is going to be pretty special. And that's going to be kind of the final trip completion moment in my mind. General direction the river's flowing right now is north to the Arctic coast, but of course there's wide bends going back and forth. So right now we're pointing more west, which is why it's more of a headwind. But to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting this river to be so mountainous. You know, you hear all the barren lands are flat, and you know, maybe a lot of it is, but here in the Hood River Valley it's really anything but. Just diverse types of scenery, broad sweeping country, mountains, things I would consider to be pretty much mountains, if not just massive hills all over the place. Bald eagles, a golden eagle. Wildlife is unbelievable. Just such a cool place. I'm gonna see if I can't film this caribou. Obstruction before we get to our final campsite of the trip at our pickup location. So we've got a couple clicks to paddle into a strong headwind, but that is it when it comes to rapids and portaging and whatnot. This is a major slog. Ted and I, basically the wind sort of blew us to the other side of the river. We thought, okay, let's keep going with it because our campsite is on this side, but the wind is way worse over here. It's like borderline dangerous. But we're in reach. We're like probably, I don't know, probably like 300 meters from our campsite. It's just sketchy because there's no way we can take out here. There's just a cliff here. A big rocky cut bank. Okay. Around the corner, I think, is where it's marked. high stakes game here. I have to flip this huge pancake without topping it. This is the crux of the entire trip right now. Yeah! $70. Well, just battled some winds to cross the river because the hike to the Arctic coast is shorter from this side of the river than from the side we're camped on. So we just kind of beast paddle across in the wind. Harder to control a canoe in the wind without a load in it. Anyways, yeah, we're just going to basically climb up a bit of a canyon in these bluffs here up onto a plateau and follow a ridge to the coast, which isn't terribly far away, so pretty special. Looking forward to seeing it, and I feel like once we, you know, see the salt water, touch the salt water, then our mission and the trip is truly over. I got a message from our float plane pilot on my Garmin inReach just saying that all is still on track for our pickup tomorrow, which is great, and the weather has improved here substantially. So tomorrow we might get a bit of rain, but if the pressure is in general a little higher and we're not such a low ceiling and gusting winds, they should be able to fly. We might not have to wait it out, but things could change for sure. One thing about this hike too is that the odds on us seeing a polar bear are pretty high. Well, we have pretty much made it up these clay bluffs, but no ways to get to the coast yet. But well, that in front of me is the Arctic Ocean. We've done it. Yeah! Yeah! Well, our old topographic map showed there being a cabin here. So we came to check it out, and clearly there was an old cabin built with wood from shipping containers, which is often, I mean, for a long time was all the wood, milled lumber type wood that you could really get, slabs of plywood and stuff. Looks like there was a couple cabins here maybe though, and a pretty good size one anyways. Found this old Coleman stove. Unfortunately, no real resemblance of a cabin, but old fuel drums and stuff like that, but clearly it's just fallen down. Here's one peanut butter. Sold by the good old co-op store. When's the last time you saw peanut butter sold out of a metal container? So I don't know how old it is, but contains monoglycerides and salt, distributed by Municipal Cooperative Limited, Winnipeg, Canada. I don't know what this place was. It could be just a place where there's a couple cabins where families from the area used to spend significant portions of the year hunting in this area, and maybe the caribou migration changed and the caribou weren't here anymore, so it was abandoned. Maybe it was some sort of a trading post, or even an area where missionaries used to station themselves to
you know, connect with and try to convert local Inuit who might have been here sealing or whatnot at certain times of year too. That's a possibility. But yeah, it could have been a place where, you know, a company like the Hudson's Bay Company traded with Inuit who used to travel through this area, because it's only the 1950s when Inuit people in northern Canada started living in permanent communities and living a sedentary life as opposed to a migratory life. And even still, a lot of them do travel and spend a lot of time out on the land and spend time at camps similar to this, of course, in a little better repair today. So yeah, tough to say exactly what it was, but there are a lot of remnants of caribou stuff here.
We got a few different kinds of berries here. These are bake apples or cloudberries.
Bake apples.
Not quite ripe yet.
No.
And we got here, we're on these little dudes here, crowberries. Wow, those really work. And then we got your
Blueberries.
all the berries, kind of. That's how big the Labrador tea is here. That's like about as big as it gets. We're gonna pick some because we're out of coffee. It smells so good. That's about enough for a cup of tea right there. Shells in the dirt at the top of these bluffs here, so clearly this was once under the ocean and probably has rebounded since the retreat of the glaciers as the Hood River carved through it. Well, it is the evening of day 18, and sadly this is going to be our last night here on the river, considering that everything goes well with our float plane charter pickup tomorrow. You can see some nasty weather in the background. The winds are very, very strong. I just actually guyed out the tent with some sticks that I whittled as stakes because it's getting kind of sketchy. We should be okay though, and we received word on our inReach that they are planning on coming here to pick us up tomorrow. So by, you know, about early afternoon, if all goes well, we should be flying out of here. These are boiled. So in here I have the candied leftovers from my homemade maple syrup that I made pancakes with this morning. I don't know if you can see that. It's all in there. So I'm going to pour some hot water in there, and we're going to have sweet hot water, maple water. Ted is giving me one of these. He's going to give me pork pad thai. Look it, there's me and Ted doing a bunch of outdoorsy stuff up there. See? Tell me in the comments if you think hiking poles are nerdy. I think hiking poles are, they might look a little nerdy and robotic, but I think they're just like mandatory. It's like having four-wheel drive. One. Too much. Ted's having a Mexican grilled chicken bowl. That's interesting because I don't feel a fucking bowl in here. This is my maple water. Hot. Very, very, very slight hint of maple flavor. I probably added too much water, but I'm gonna add the Labrador tea that I picked on our hike to it. Right here. Make sure not to add that old Band-Aid and this hunk of boot rubber. Toss that Labrador tea right in there. I'm gonna let that steep for a bit. Anyways, Ted's just gonna take apart his folding canoe, and I'm gonna pull off my spray deck, get this canoe ready to be strapped to the float plane, and then we're gonna essentially portage our stuff up the sandbar that way about 200-300 meters to meet the float plane tomorrow. I'm guessing if all goes well that they'll be here around noon. So fingers crossed the weather doesn't get too bad. Anyways, hoping this weather clears up. Doesn't look too good, and we'll be on our float plane out of here for what will probably be a 4 or 5 hour flight back to civilization tomorrow. I'm gonna tuck into bed and yeah, have a good night's sleep. See what tomorrow holds. Well, it is day 19, and today is the day that we're supposed to be getting our float plane pickup, but it's not coming today. So we're starting to feel a little nervous. We've kind of gone through all our food. We went light on food because of our weight restrictions. Looks like we're gonna have enough between the two of us if we ration it for a couple of days. Rubberoo stews aren't necessarily a thing of precise, exactly the same every time. A lot of the time they might have whatever you can find out there on the land, whatever you might have with you, but basically your mainstay is the pemmican. Pemmican was traditionally made out of mostly bison, and the Métis on the plains actually made large amounts of it, which they sold to the Northwest Company, and that very much fueled the fur trade for a long time. That's what the voyageurs ate. Indigenous people were the ones that had been making it for a long time. And I think traditionally maybe berries weren't included in it. So they don't really know if the addition of berries was something that happened after European contact or not. With the berries in, it won't actually last as long. The shelf life isn't as long, but it provides more vitamins. Okay, and the last ingredient is a thickening agent, and that's just flour, that right there. And we're just gonna add that in slowly. Just kind of stir it in as I go, 1 spoon at a time. That is a hearty looking stew there if I ever saw it. Okay, ladies and germs, it is cleared up here. A little bit of cloud cover in the sky, but definitely manageable for a float plane. And Ted and I, while we were around this little fire we built, made some Labrador tea and hung out, and all of a sudden you felt that east wind stop for a bit, and then the west wind picked up and just basically blew in some high pressure. So we're good in this area for our float plane pickup tomorrow. It's all going to depend on the forest fire situation and the smoke that obstructs the view of the pilot, and you know, the pilot can't breathe flying through that smoke as well. So it's all going to depend on what the smoke situation is doing down there. Hopefully the winds have changed up there too, and it'll make a difference. So the Hood River trip here, we are almost 3 weeks we've been out here. The fishing was incredible. The topography was rugged and pretty much mountainous. Some things I would call even mountains, but just starkly beautiful. The broad rolling expanses of countryside, the water waterfalls, and the fish we were catching at times were just unbelievable. Ted and I were trying to think of a word to explain it all, and we came up with the word sacred. And there were spots where the fishing was like so amazing, we just caught one or two to eat and then maybe took a couple casts to catch a couple more and just didn't even fish them harder because we just didn't want to, like, you know, chip away at the beauty and pristineness of these places out of respect even. And they were just so beautiful, like Hinguam Falls. Wow, what a campsite that was. And the caribou, just being able to get up close and see them like that, and the experience with the wolf. And one of the funny things is that I've honestly found myself a little lost for words at times when I'm trying to give this update, trying to like share my feelings or share what happened that day. And it's almost just because this area and the land, it can't really be shared in words. Like, it's so hard to really do it justice. It's hard to even find the words to describe some of these things we've seen, some of these landscapes we've paddled through, and just some of the experiences that we've had as well have just been amazing. And even right now, we are in such a remote location. Just the fact that we flew here on a float plane 500 miles each way, you know, you could fly across enormous expanses of multiple countries, just to give you an idea of how remote we are, that the closest community is about 270 kilometers away, and that doesn't even have road access. We are like literally in what some people would say the middle of nowhere, but to me it's almost like the opposite, because Ted and I feel pretty at home here, and the remoteness doesn't really scare us. It's actually amazing, and we just feel like we've become in tune with this place as much as one could expect to in a 3-week trip. So hopefully all works out well and we get our float plane pickup, but this trip has definitely inspired me to try to paddle some more Arctic Barren Grounds rivers in the future. And just the experiences out here, getting the chance to do it with my brother like this, is something that I'll take with me for the rest of my life. That's for sure.
Well, our plane showed up sooner than we thought, and he's circling, trying to look for a place to land. We're hoping it's not too shallow, but we're kind of panicking because we weren't quite ready. I don't know. I think our float plane might have left. He landed. He must have landed over here. Oh my God, I just had a heart attack. I thought he had to turn away. There he is. Well, that was a little concerning. He couldn't find anywhere to land, and he had to land well out of our sight. And we thought maybe he left. And we were really concerned, but it wasn't a great place because such low water everywhere. And I was able to run out and basically grab the plane before the wind caught it. And the good news is it's only bad like this around the coast, only for about 15K. So we'll have no problem as long as we could get through this heavy fog and mist and stuff. We'll be fine for the rest of the flight. So the pilot didn't seem too concerned at all, which is awesome. Anyways, we're just loading up the plane now. Before too long, we'll be in the air.